but how you came very much making the world trip out here, especially if you didn't get out, if you got finally relax, you want some in the car, because as many meetings as possible, the Torah is a tremendous, we feel very honored to come, and it's very covered and it's very honored to ask us to come with us.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. I'm honored to be here today. We decided to speak today about life of devotion to Torah and Yiddishkeit, which is something that we hear about every day in our life, but not always it penetrates correctly into the mind of a person. How do we know when a person is devoted to Torah and to life being connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu all the time and not? How do you know? You don't need to make a full investigation about a human being to know if he's connected to Hashem. It takes exactly 1 second. Just by the way he looks, you already know if he's connected to Hashem or not. In my own eyes, I went to Yeshivat Or HaChaim in Yerushalayim, Rav Reuven Elbaz, the famous yeshiva for Baalei Tshuva. And my cousin is a rabbi there, used to be. So he was teaching there for 10 years. And he's a very, very big, tremendous Talmid Chacham, huge, and also very big Mekubal. So somebody came, one of the Talmidim, and said to him, Rabbi, there's someone he wants to get accepted to the yeshiva. And we were sitting, and the Bet Midrash over there was about 10 times bigger than here. It was in a temporary place before they moved into their current location. It was a very big place, and maybe 400 people there. So he said, where is he? He said to him, over there, maybe 50 yards away. He said to him, tell him to walk a few steps inside. I want to see him. Then I walked inside a few steps. And then he said, well, no, what should I tell him? Tell him he's accepted to come tomorrow 9 o'clock. So I was still sitting there. I said to him, Rabbi, my cousin, I allow myself to attack him. I said to him, this is how you're accepting people to the yeshiva? How did you know who he is? How do you know he's not a criminal? How do you know, who knows who this person is? He said, Akol chazali mefurashim. You see how a person walk and move, you know everything about him. He's a great person with midot, with shame, fantastic. After a while, I follow up on him. I said to him, be honest, this person is really like you said? He said, absolutely, a star here. We maybe not see it, but big Talmidei Chachamim who learns the nefesh, the deepness of the person, they see things that we don't see. You know how they say that the people used to walk into the stapler, they used to put their head down to cover the forehead. Why? By looking at you, he knew everything about you. And it wasn't a prophecy. Maybe it was Ruach HaKodesh, I don't know, but you see on a person, it's Chazali Mefurashim, it's Chochmat HaPartzuf, Chochmat HaYad, there's all kinds of things that today we have no idea about them. But it existed. It still exists. We don't have the knowledge, but it exists. So how do you know if we're not such expert about reading the person by the way he walks, about his midos and about his personality and about his character? How do you really know if a person is really devoted to life of Torah? How do you know? David HaMelech, everybody understand, nobody argue about that he was one of the greatest, holiest people in the history of this world. If you read the Tehillim, now I'm making a series about Tehillim series, if you had an opportunity to hear it. He's speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu like a son standing in front of a father, which is also the judge, and he's speaking to him, and of course, he's not going to stand and say lies to Hashem when you stand in front of Hashem, when you pray Tfilat Shmona Esrei. So you say, in Shomei Tfilah, you want to add some personal request. So you say, Hashem, you know how great I am. You know I never say the lie in my life. You know I'm so honest in my business. You know I love you so much. Every day I davenet. You know I dress like Ben Torah. You know that the Torah is all my life. What are you going to get from Hashem? If you're lucky, you'll get a smack. If you're lucky. What are you standing in front of me and telling me fairy tales? Be honest, say who you are, and say, have mercy on me, I'm sorry. Help me not to be a loser. Help me. I'm begging you. Look where I am. That's much better approach than to come, dear God, dear Hashem, you know how great I am. I never made a sin in my life. But if you read Tehillim, this is what David HaMelech said to Hashem. You know I never made any avon in my entire life. It's Tehillim 17 or 18. Check over there. You will save me from my enemies because you know I deserve it. How many people in the world can stand in front of Hashem and come with demands? I'm not asking you to have mercy on me because I didn't listen to you. I'm so devoted to your Torah, to your life, to your emet, to your truth, that when I ask you to save me from all these enemies around me, I know you will, but not as a chesed, because I did everything you asked me to. And David HaMelech, one of the greatest things about him, besides being a tzaddik, that he was a huge lover of Torah. No matter at what position in his life he was, when he was a shepherd, when he was the king of the world, he always made this declaration, Tov li torat picha me'alfei zahav v'chesef, shivti bevet Hashem kol yemei chayai. Your Torah is better for me than gold and silver and any precious thing. My whole request from you is, I'm not interested to be a king, and I'm not interested to be anything. I'm only want to be a yeshiva bachur, right here in Connecticut, to be able to sit and learn Torah. That's all I'm asking from you. Shivti bevet Hashem kol yemei chayai. Chazal say the yeshivot is bet Hashem. When Mashiach come, all the Batei Midrashiyot uvate Knesiyot will move to Eretz Israel. You wake up in the morning, where am I? I'm not in Connecticut. Oh, what's going on over here? All the Batei, why is mamash like halacha, like Eretz Israel inside. L'avdi, like they have embassies in the world. If somebody wants to catch you and put you to death, you run. Once you make it into the embassy, they can touch you. Like Pollard, Jonathan Pollard, he made it to the embassy, but the Israelis didn't open the door for him. They didn't open. By the time they had to call and get permission, the American CIA caught him. Another minute or two, he would make it in. He wouldn't sit 30 years in prison. Of course, there was Ritzon Hashem, but embassy, once you in. They cannot put their hands on you. That's the law, international law. Same thing yeshiva. You inside the yeshiva, you already bebet Hashem. What David HaMelech says, Shivti bebet Hashem kol yemei chayai, lachazot benoam Hashem ulvaker be'echalo. What does it mean? I want to see the greatness, the pleasance of Hashem, but to feel that I'm a visitor. What's the difference between someone that lives in a house and a guest? A guest is very excited. He comes to a beautiful place. He looks, wow, what a nice place. He's impressed. Wow, how they built it, how they did it, what beautiful art, whatever the case is. Someone who's there is not impressed. Someone who already got used to it, the Torah, no, it's like learning math, history, maybe one day I want to be a doctor. Some people, that's how they look at the Torah. It's a way of life. I'm a teenager, I have to be here. At one point I'm going to get married and I'll see what I do with my life. But that's not the case by him. His case by him was, Shivti bevet Hashem kol yemei chayai. I'm begging you, make me a yeshiva bachur all my life. I'm not interested. I have to do things, what can I do? But my really wish is to be in bet Hashem kol yemei chayai. Then I started to ask, how do you know if a person really is a lover of a Torah? The answer, Ma ahavti toratecha kol hayom isichati. If somebody asks you, how do you know the person you go out on a date what she loves the most in her life. How do you know? You don't need to ask her. You date her once or twice, you see what she's talking about the most. That's where her mind is. Same thing, I have guests coming to me from time to time. I don't need to ask you what's your hobbies and what you love in life. I let them talk 5-10 minutes, and I know already where they munach. One guy is speaking to me about the new Ferrari who just came out. Wow, they changed the size of the tires. In 19 such and such, they did this, and they moved the engine to the back. He knows every detail about the car. He gives me a 15-minute speech about motorcycles and cars. I know where his mind is. Another person come to me, is speaking to me about this Gemara, about this Kushia. He cannot sleep at night. It looks like a contradiction. He's breaking his head to find out, can you help me with that? Then you know where his mind is. Person that care about what kind of tie he wears, or what's the brand name of his suit, you know where his mind is. Because someone who is connected to Hashem and Torah, the last thing on his mind is the name on it, or the tag, or the color of his car. These things doesn't interest. My first Rav, I used to give him a ride from the yeshiva after Seder Rishon for lunch break to his home. For more than a year, I'm driving him home. For more than a year. After maybe a year, one day I see him walking on the street. He always had this big, heavy bag full of books, always. He was one from the old generation, and he had Walkman, you know? And he was listening to Musar tapes while he was walking on the street. He doesn't have a car, so he walks a lot in Monsey. He walks a lot, he has Walkman. Every second of his life connect to Torah, whether he's in a Bet Midrash, when he walks in the street, Torah, all his life. He's mamash in a different planet. So I blocked him on a sidewalk. I mean, he's crossing the street. I'm blocking his way to make him notice me, to wake up from his world. And he's going like this. Obviously, it's Shomer Einaim. So I open the window. I say, Rabbi, oh, it's you. I say, here, come. Let me give you a ride. Where do you need to go? I'm going over there, to one of the Batei Midrashot. I think it was Ben Azmanim or something. So I say to Rabbi, I'm driving you in this car every day. You don't recognize my car? You look like you're surprised. He said, I really never looked at that. I never looked at the car. Rav Ovadia Yosef was giving every Thursday shiur in Orach Chaim Yeshiva for who knows how many months or years. Not one time he knew the way to enter to the place where he speaks. Every time, Rabbi, it's not from here, come from here. What? Again and again, every week. You don't find the way? 2-3 turns. Why? He's so deep in Torah, nothing else matters. That's his life. It's become his life. Now you're thinking, okay, that's to these great people. What does it have to do with us? We're in a generation of electronic and everything around. It's completely a different world. It's not, this doesn't apply to me. The answer, that's where the mistake begins. When a person thinks just because the world is changing, the demand from the human being is changing, that's where his mistake is. Now, never in a history, it became less important to be a real Talmid Chacham, Emet, Baal Midos. It never went down. It's the same demand today, the same demand it was 1,000 or 3,000 years ago. Nothing has changed. The technology changed, the world is changing, all kinds of things are changing. The Torah will never change until the last second of this day in the world. It's going to be the same demand. First question in Yom Adin, Haim kavat haitim laTorah. In today's technology world with cell phones and laptops and YouTubes and all the rest of the nonsense, still it's the same question today. Somebody asked, wait a minute, Rabbi, how can they ask someone like David Ben-Gurion, which was anti-Torah? He was a communist. Even though he respected the Torah in certain ways, because if you hear some of the interviews with him, he was much, much, much better than the liberals and the lefties, anti-Torah politicians today. He wasn't Shomer Mitzvot, but he stood in the United Nations with the Tanakh in his hand and said, this is our deed for this land. You know, he got lucky that none of the Arabs was clever enough to get up and say to him, Mr. Ben-Gurion, before you're waving this divine document, we have only one question to you. Do you keep one of the laws over there? We keep more than you. We don't eat pork. You do. Sit down and be quiet. Don't talk to us about the state of Israel. That will be the end of it. Same thing, I could have gone today to the United Nations and finished the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in 5 minutes. I would not come with the Torah, because the Torah, everybody already know the Torah. It didn't help. I would use a different trick. What would I do? I would pick up the Quran and say, "Dear Arabs, who wrote this book?" They would say, "God, Allah." Wow, right away, they would bow down. I said to them, "Wait. If this is a divine document, that means you must listen to what it says." They would always say, "Yes, of course." I said, "Okay, so let's read some of the verses in your Quran that Eretz Israel belong to the Jews. In your book, that the Jews are the chosen people, and God took them out of Mitzrayim, and He brought them to the Promised Land. And it says over here, if you have any doubt about the Quran, you have to go check in the Torah, because it's a better and more reliable document." That's what the Quran says. But they never read it, because 98% of them never read the Quran, just like 98% of the Jews never read the Torah. 20 years I speak. People are barking against the Torah non-stop. And every time I ask them, "Excuse me, I just had a debate with this atheist in Manhattan maybe 10 days ago. It's already online. I asked him over there, and I ask every one of them, "Did you ever read the Torah once from the beginning to the end to understand the literal meanings, the words, the meaning of the words? Forget about the secrets. Did you ever read the Torah once in your life?" The answer is always no. So then I ask, "So how do you dare to come and argue about something you have no idea what it is?" You can only come to criticize some things that you learned very, very carefully what it is. Now you have things against it. Fine, let's hear you. If you yourself declare that you did not read 5% of the Torah in your entire life, who puts you here to debate about it? It's very interesting. In medicine, no one will do such a foolish thing. No one would come to a convention of big doctors and give them a speech against their medicine. Why? Because we know they're going to make me look like a fool. I'll be the clown of the Leitzan HaChatzer. I will not do the same thing with convention of computer engineers. I will not do it in lawyers' convention. I will not do it in many places, because I know I don't belong there. I don't have the knowledge to argue with them. I have a cousin, he's a judge in a court in Israel, secular court, not frum. One time I started to argue with him, and he said, "I don't have," in Hebrew, "אין לי את הכלים להתמודד איתך." I don't have the tools to argue against you. Why? He's a very smart person and very educated, and also accidentally very, very honest person, believe it or not. If anybody has to be a secular judge, you want him to be. He's really, really honest person. Mamash, he cannot say lie. You tell him, "Okay, do it for me. I trust you." No. It has to be organized, everything. He sends you the paper by mail. Everything by him is mamash. If he would keep Torah and mitzvot half of what he keep the secular law, he would be already a candidate to be the Mashiach. Mi ya'ale be'ar Hashem, neki kapayim uvar levav. According to his understanding of the secular law, is 100% neki kapayim. They don't know what it means, neki kapayim, according to the Torah, but for his understanding. So you say, in order for me to answer you what you're claiming and what you're saying, I have to learn all your material, which will take me years. Since I have not done so, I am not going to argue. I say to him, "You know what? 20 years I argue with people. You're the only normal person that had the mind to answer the right answer. You basically finished the argument." But everybody else, they fall into the trap. They come and they scream, and everyone is a big shot, and after 5-10 minutes, they see they have no idea what they say. Like in Israel, they invented a beautiful sentence. What do they say? Ish be'emunato yichyeh. The words of the Navi Habakkuk, Tzadik Habakkuk ye'emida malachat, Tzadik be'emunato yichyeh. Tzaddik will live thanks to his emunah, or because of his emunah. So they changed the tzaddik to ish. Ish. Ish means everyone, tzaddik, not tzaddik. They say you live in your religious lifestyle, we live in our lifestyle, let us live and we let you live, leave us alone. Everyone does what he wants. Ish hayashar be'enav yaseh. Changing one word from the Tanakh, change the entire ideology of Hashem. Change everything in one word, that's it. Look how brilliant this scam is. They only change one word and they give it, and but no one was saying anything until one time I started to spread it in my lecture. It doesn't say Ish be'emunato yichyeh. It says tzaddik. So they got puzzled. Oh, tzaddik? Now we have to think about a new scam. It's not working anymore. So let's go back to our topic. How does a person become devoted to Torah and Yirat Shamayim, and it becomes the main thing on his life? Because you know how it is. If a person put all his efforts in Torah, learning, L'Shem Shamayim, Lomed Torah Lishma, automatically, it's guaranteed. Check all the Gdolei Israel. Automatically, once they get to this level, nothing in the world excites them anymore. Nothing, not clothing, not money, not houses, not jewelry, not vacation, nothing whatsoever. The only thing that excites someone and is a real Ben Torah is Torah and Kirva LeHashem. And you read it, the entire Tehillim. You see the level that David HaMelech was. You have to cry from jealousy. Today, we have to do tshuva that we don't cry for being Amei Aratzot. Not that we're not Talmidei Chachamim. That's already too yumrani, asking for too much. We have to cry for what? That I'm not crying that I am such an Am Haaretz compared to the way I should have been. Why am I Am Haaretz? Why? One very simple reason. I give 5-10% of my life to the Torah and 90% to nonsense. But if I'm going to give all my life for the Torah, there's no such thing that I'm not going to be a Talmid Chacham. If a person give all his life, the Gaon Mivilna say, if a person learns seriously 3 hours and 15 minutes, I don't know where he got that time. Why 3 hours and 15 minutes? Minimum, straight, with no breaks. He goes to the bathroom before he sits down, clean his body, no tea, no coffee, that will make you go to the bathroom again. 3 hours, 15 minutes, not one secular word. Only Gemara, Torah, whatever you learn, 3 hours and 15 minutes every day of your life, muftach shetiyeh talmid chacham. That's all. 3 hours and 15 days and 15 minutes. Muftach that it will be talmid chacham, that he puts all his time, 3 hours and 15. Today, we learn much more than that. Bachurei yeshiva, 10, 11, 12, 15, depend, hours a day. How many Talmidei Chachamim you have in the world? Especially in a new generation, especially here in America. Can you name one major Talmid Chacham in a level that going to the direction of Rav Chaim Kanievsky, or Rav Steinman, or Rav Ovadia, or Rav Wozner, or Rav Karelis, and a few others? Do you find anyone today that goes to that? Yes, Baruch Hashem, there's a lot of people who know Torah. But something in our life now got mixed into our lifestyle that is basically destroying the Torah. It's like mixing fire and water together in the same box. And the fire and the water are not working together. When a person's mind is into Manhattan, into weddings, into jewelry, into all these things, automatically it takes him away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's a price that we pay. Yes, we learn, yes, we sharp, yes, we love what we learn, and even when we learn, we enjoy it very much, and we get up with great light in our neshama, but it goes right away to the garbage a minute later. Someone gave a beautiful mashal. If you put water to boil them, you put them 5 minutes and you take it off, and then you put it on and you take it off, and you put it, and it never gets to boiling, ever. It's always going to be warmer and colder and warmer and colder, and for the rest of your life, it never boiled. The germs are still there. The idea is that a person will get to this period of devotion once he tastes from the sweetness of the Torah, from the light of the Torah. You will never have to beg him to stay devoted to the Torah. All he has to do is really to put X amount of his life seriously in it, cut himself from all the nonsense, and muftach that once he feels that this light, the Or HaShechina, from that moment on, you will have to beg him not to learn Torah. It will not be possible. And I know a few people. I'll give you a story. One time I went to Queens Boulevard. I had a friend, he owned the restaurant. And he said to me, I have a guy for you. Maybe you take him to Monsey, to the yeshiva. Israeli guy who came from Israel with a bag. He's not religious, doesn't know anything from his life. I think, kacha hu amar, it's a teref kal. Teref kal, it's an easy hunt. You can hunt him in 2 minutes. Why? Anyway, doesn't know where he's going to sleep, doesn't know anything from America. He's looking for himself somewhere in the world, going from one place to another. The guy showed up. I started to talk to him. And I was telling him about the yeshiva, about Monsey. He's thinking, he said, okay, I'll try. I said, come, try a week, see what Torah is, what yeshiva is. Yemenite guy, Israeli. I took him to the yeshiva. On the way to the yeshiva, he asked me, going up the hill, he said, tell me, everyone over there is black? Black and white? I said to him, very black. He said, oh, it's too late to change my mind, huh? I said, that's it. You're already on the way there. He came to the yeshiva, I don't know, maybe a month or two later. This guy got so deep into the Torah, so quickly dropped everything that he was involved with, that maybe 2 months later, one day I walk on the street towards the yeshiva where I parked the car, I walk, and I see he's coming towards me. And I see Mamash, I'm 6 feet in front of him, he doesn't recognize me. So I said to him, Oren, what's going on? He took his glasses out, he put his glasses, oh, Rabbi, I'm sorry. I said, what's going on? You don't see anything without your glasses? He said, nothing. Mamash, nothing. So I said to him, so why are you taking off? You walk in the streets like this? He said, you know, there's not news here. I said to him, it's Monsey. Back then, I'm talking more than 15 years ago, you really didn't have any pritzut at all. He said to me, you know, maybe he's a cleaning lady, he will come out of the houses. Like this, I secure myself. Right after that, one day I brought another guy to the yeshiva, 1 o'clock at night, I hear crying in a bet midrash, crying. I turn the light on, I see Mr. Oren sitting by the Aron Kodesh with a Sefer Torah, is doing Tikkun Chatzot, crying. In few months that he came and he put all his life into the Torah in such devotion, he reached what people do not reach in years, because it was real. That's the problem, learning part-time. Part-time meaning 40% capacity, 20% capacity, 80%, it's not the same. Like Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul asked, he was a very, very big Chacham and Gaon and a Yud Tzaddik and Maleh B'Yisurim. He asked, I don't understand how the yeshivot have Seder Shlishi. He said, how can it be? Why? Because when he finished Seder Sheni, he couldn't get up from the chair. They had to pick him up. Same thing Chazon Ish, from his chair to the bed, 2 steps. But he couldn't get up. They put all their life into the Torah with such devotion, no cell phone, no cigarettes, no coffee every 2 minutes, no thinking, no breaking the limud with nonsense. This is one of the diseases of the yeshivot. What do you think about the new president? What do you think is going to be now? Did you hear about the attack in Israel? Did you hear about this? Did you hear the prime minister? The government collapse? Did you hear about the new Obama plan? What does it have to do in Bet HaMidrash? I tell you, Rav Yehuda Tzadka was Rosh Yeshivat Porat Yosef. He was a very big Talmid Chacham and Tzaddik. And one day he passed away, and they made a funeral to him. So they came to the person who was learning with him for 30 years Chevruta. If you have a Chevruta for 30 years, he's supposed to know you better than your wife knows you. Hours every day, you see it, you talk to him. So they came to this Chevruta, and they told him, we want you to say the eulogy since you probably know him the best. So he said, I can't really say the eulogy for him. So he said, well, why? He said, I don't know anything about him. So he said to him, what do you mean you don't know anything about him? In our own eyes, we saw 30 years, you're learning with him hours every day. Ma. He said, on the first day that we decided to learn together, we made an agreement with handshake that we only learn together in one condition, that we now accept on ourselves never to say one extra word in the learning when we learn Gemara. Not one extra word, not how are you, not how is your wife, not how your sick son, nothing. It's not permitted in a shiur. And we shook hands on it, and 30 years we never spoke one personal word. I don't know anything about him. I only know how he learns. If you want me to say that, you have hundreds of people who will say that. But personal, nothing. How many people in this generation can say this? 30 years now, why? You don't replace diamonds with silver. It's important sometimes to ask how is Moshe, is sick, is he feeling better? It's important. It's important in lunch break. Once you're in a Torah, you're collecting diamonds. When you collect diamonds, you don't stop 1 second to collect pieces of silver from the floor. And that's what people don't put in their hand. If the people put it in their hand, what's the value of the Torah? Chafetz Chaim did the calculation. 1 word, 1 minute, 200 words, 5 letters per word, in average, 1,000 letters per minute. 1,000 letters, each letter it's mitzvah aseh deoraita. 1 hour, 60,000 mitzvot. 1 day in yeshiva, 600,000 mitzvot. I once told a guy that started to become Baal Tshuva, Chiloni, secular. I told him you have to take a few months off and come and learn the foundation. It's impossible to do tshuva from going to work as usual and listening to some tapes and coming 1 hour a day to learn. It's not good. You need foundation, how to learn Gemara, how to open Gemara, what's Rashi, what's Tosfot, how you read Rashi, how you look at Halacha, how you open Mishnah Brura. These things take a few months. You cannot do it overnight, and definitely not from tapes, and it's very difficult from 1 hour a day. You'll never get anywhere. You need foundation. So, it's hard, the job, I'm going to get fired, and all these excuses. All these excuses. So I say to him, you have to understand one thing. Sometimes when a person takes a time out from his regular life and he devotes himself X amount of time, he builds such good foundation, later on everything becomes much, much easier and much more blessed in his learning. So I say to him, if you're going to be the way you are all your life, Baal Tshuva, you keep Shabbos, you put tzitzit, you put mezuzot, you put tefillin once a day, you daven 3 times, you do whatever everyone does. How many mitzvot do you think you'll do in your entire life? Let's do an average day, I told him. 3 tefillot a day, it's all the Rabbanan. No, beautiful. Tzitzit, no, the Oraita. Tefillin, it's 2 more the Oraita, it's 3. Birkat Hamazon twice a day, 5. No, what else? Let's think. What else you do? Give me how many mitzvot the Oraita you do in your day. We came together after breaking our head, maybe 30 mitzvot a day. 30 mitzvot a day. I say, so how much is that in a month? Let's say 1,000. 1,000 in a month. How much a year? 12,000. How much your entire year? 70 years, 100,000 mitzvot. 1 day in a yeshiva, you do 6 times more than your entire life. So what? In that case, I come to the yeshiva for all my life, because people don't understand the value of Torah. The value of the Torah is every letter is mamash like picking up a diamond. Now let's talk a little bit how we practically can do it. How? First of all, a person has to learn Musar. Even though in this generation, people are, some people, not everyone, some people are allergic to Musar. It's becoming more and more forbidden to talk Musar. People like me that speaks a lot of Musar, they become the target of many anti-Torah and anti-Hashem people in the world. They don't attack people that don't speak Musar. They're not a threat to them. They understand who they have to target. They target people that speak strong Musar and wake up their hearts because they look at them. And by the way, it's all directed from the Satan. The Satan knows where to send the people to. They target it for one reason. They rather attack someone who wakes up their heart to do tshuva and to become more serious in Yiddishkeit than someone who only teach Torah. They teach Torah, beautiful, but no one is shaking up their hearts to do tshuva. In Torah, they also learn. In the university, they learn Torah, and they learn Torah with cigarettes on Shabbat. There are professors in Israel, they know more Torah than each one of us here, include the Rabbanim here. Everything they know, every pasuk in the Tanakh, they have doctorate in the Tanakh. And they're most despicable Reshaim in the history. Everything they make fun, mockery against Hashem, against Yirat Shamayim, make fun at Chazal. They don't keep maybe one mitzvah a month. But they tell you everything you want. They know more Tanakh than us. They even know more Gemara than us. Professor, a woman, she'll tell you the Pei Gemara by heart. If you change her voice to a voice of a Chacham, you'll be convinced the Chacham gave the shiur. What are they worth, these people? What? Just to know, to be Chamor Noseh Sfarim? Someone that learns and doesn't have Yirat Shamayim, what does his Torah worth? We have few examples in the Talmud. Doeg HaEdomi, Achitofel, Yerovam. Each one of them, if he lived today, all the Gdolei Ador would hide that people call them rabbis, not to talk about us. If Yerovam ben Navat would live today, do you know what would happen? No rabbi would come out of his home from embarrassment that you calling me rabbi when you have this genius, unbelievable chacham. Every ma'alach in the Torah, 127 drashot he can give you. 127 different speeches about every subject in Torah. This is what Chazal say about Yerovam. And what was he? Full of ego. He lost his olam haba because he was ga'aftan saruach. The Gemara writes, "En lo chelek la'olam haba," and Hashem gave him a chance. He say, "Make tshuva, and you and me and David HaMelech will be together in Gan Eden." And he asked, "Who's first? Who's higher, him or me?" And Hashem say, "Him." And he said, "I'm not interested." Achitofel, David HaMelech asked him question in halakha. He has to make him somebody serious authority. What was he? Rasha, Doeg HaEdomi, no emunah, no Yirat Shamayim. Torah, yes. So it's very possible that a person will know all Shas, but he never corrected one midah of his life. They asked the Gaon Mivilna, what's the purpose of life? Ma tachlit ha'chaim. What was the answer? One sentence. What was his answer? Do you know? Did he say to know all Shas by heart? No. Did he say to know all the Chumash by heart? No. What did he answer? Tikun hamidot ze kol ha'adam. The correction of the midot, that's what the person is all about. Which means, if you live all your life here, and you did not correct your midot, you did nothing. If you corrected your midot, even partially, you achieve something. It cannot be that you be in yeshiva 20, 30 years and you're the same lazy person. You're the same gaftan, you're the same liar, you're the same selfish person. When everyone clean, you go to hide. Or when everyone volunteer, you're the only one who never volunteer. And whatever you don't want anyone to do to you, you make sure to do to them. How can it be? You're in a place where the Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Alevai ve'oti azvu ve'torati shamaru. I hope if you have to choose between the two, between me and between my Torah, who to leave, leave me, but don't leave my Torah. Doesn't make any sense. What is this? What does it mean, leave me, but don't leave my Torah? Israel ve'akadosh baruch hu ve'deoraita chad hu. That's what the Zohar said. Chazal said. Hashem and the Torah, it's one integral thing. There's no way to separate. And Am Israel. It's a triangle, but it's one piece. So what does it mean? You leave me, but don't leave my Torah. What's the rest of the sentence? Shema or sheba machziram lamutav. That the light of the Torah is making you always go back to the right track. Now I want to ask you a question. Is it real? Is it true? How many people we saw that they learn X amount of years and nothing, it never pushed them to the mutav? They still very modern. They still have a haircut that is not exactly Jewish. They still behave like half goyim. They think they have no emunah. No emunah when it comes to money, how they behave. You wonder to yourself, how can it be? As a person who learns so many masachtot and doesn't have 1 gram of emunah in Hashem, nothing. A typical goy has more emunah than him. I have letters that I get a lot from goyim. Every day, at least 10, every day, from all over the world, because once you speak in English, and once I had this debate with the priest, it went to more than 120 countries, and they begin to listen to your lectures. You have no control. Sometimes you see the letters that these goyim send, and you sit and cry from shame. I'm talking about myself. I say to myself, why, this goy, he listened to 5, 10, 20 of my lecture. How many hours he heard? 40 hours of Torah in his life? And he's better than me. He's better than me. Look what he writes here. He's willing to leave his wife, he's willing to leave his children, to leave his wife the house, to leave his wife the business, to leave her all the cash, to take a suitcase, to come from where he lived to New York, to come to me, to pay me whatever I want, to teach him Torah and to help him to convert. And you try to convince him, you don't need to convert. You keep the 7 law, you be tzaddik, don't worry. And say, no, I want the real thing. The real thing. And you say to yourself, how many people would agree to leave their wife that they love very much, to leave the children that's all their life, to leave their business, which is also very important in today's generation, business, the money, it's almost everything in the mind of a person, to leave everything, to come to suffer, to come to the unknown, to come to learn something that most of us run away from, unfortunately, just to be a Jew, that you will have a much harder life. Why? Because it's the emet of the creator of the world. Isn't it a shame for us? Let's be honest. When you read such a thing, and you see that somewhere, going out of nowhere, is writing you such an email, and there's not 1 or 2, there's many. What does it say to us about us? What does it say to us? Imach Shimon, all these Arab murderers, before they come to kill us, they know they're going to get killed. They believe in something that is totally inaccurate, totally incorrect. You'd sin, you should not kill, applies to goyim. No matter how you look at that, they have nothing to count on. But one thing we can learn from these monsters, when they believe in something, they want to die for it. How many of us willing to die for the emet of the Torah, for what Hashem promised? To be a person that is attached to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shivti bevet Hashem kol yemei chayai, not Shivti 1 minute in the yeshiva and 2 minutes later in the iPad. Because where am I going to get? 1 minute on the fire, 2 minutes off. 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. Where will I get? After 30 years, I'm going to be the same one. Do you know how many times Bachurei Yeshiva comes to me for Shabbat? And I said to them, no, maybe you give us a Dvar Torah, but the Parsha, I don't remember how many times they were able to speak. And if they did, it was mamash 1 word, which wasn't even 2 minutes. They don't have what to say. So I say, later I'm thinking to myself, this guy will go on a shidduch. What is he going to speak in a shidduch? He cannot even say 10, 20 minutes divrei Torah, something. I said, what's going on? He's in yeshiva for years, this bachur. Why? Because when the mind is contaminated with so much nonsense and so many... Someone told me, did you see the new Hollywood movie that came about Noah? So I'm thinking to myself, this guy not only lives in a dream, he comes to me to ask me if I saw this Hollywood movie. That means he doesn't even understand something is wrong about it. He doesn't even have any idea. That's Bachur Yeshiva. Did you see? This is one excitement. I said to him, movie, Hollywood, is kosher bichlal? Yeah, it's kosher. Well, actually, no, it's not so kosher. You know, let's emphasize a little bit more about David HaMelech. I just want to give us an idea. David HaMelech, we know, his wife was Bathsheba, and he had a son, Shlomo. What's the story? You know the story, the Uriah Hittite, that Bathsheba was really David, but after he killed Goliath, he wanted someone to open the knot on a sword of Goliath. Nobody knew how to do it. He announced, anyone will open it, that I can chop this monster's head off. Everyone will open the knot. Will tinaten lo atova mibnot Israel. He'll get the greatest shidduch. Hashem said, oh yeah, you became zavek zivugim. You the new HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hashem. Your zivug goes to him. then he had to do all kinds of things to get back his original shidduch that was his. Now let me ask you a question. How do we know that Bathsheba was really his shidduch? How do we know? He saw a pretty woman on the roof. He likes her. He went after her and he got her and he got married. Not everyone married their own the real shidduch. The Zohar say, and even I believe I heard it once in the name of the Stipler, that sometimes a person marry a woman and it's not his real shidduch, and they have children and it's not shoresh nishmato. His whole life is srak. It's possible. Also in the name of the Stipler, it's possible that in Rosh Hashanah Hashem writes to a person Chaim for this year and he will die this year. Because he went to a bad doctor, and the bad doctor neglected in the middle of the surgery something and killed him. Hard to understand, how can it be? But this is it. If a person put himself in place of a danger or negligence, he may get hurt even if he doesn't deserve to get hurt. So David HaMelech, I'm skipping the entire process how he got Bathsheba back, but let me tell you one interesting thing about it in case you didn't know. It says like this. David had Shlomo, which his name was Yedidia. Yedidia means friend of Hashem. Yedid, yeah. When people shake hands in Judaism, Yad, Yad and Yad. Yad and Yad, two hands, Yadayim, right? Yad, Yadid. Yud Daled, Yadid. And together, Yad is 14 and the other Yad is 14. Together it's Koach. When there's unity, handshake symbolize unity. Unity means it gives you strength. Today, what happened to the religious parties in the Israeli Knesset, they're all going to be wiped out, chas v'shalom, if they won't change their attitude and their midot. The Ashkenazim, World War III between two groups. Sfaradim, now the same thing. Two groups that has 8 mandats, and 8 mandats are about to split to 4 and 4. 4 doesn't get you into the Knesset. It can be 100 people less, you need full 4. If you be 100 people short, you stay outside. All 4 groups will stay outside. Instead of having 16 seats in the Knesset that can give hundreds of millions of shekel to the yeshivot, can prevent a lot of aveiros, can prevent public transportation on Shabbat, can make all kinds of good laws for Torah and for Yiddishkeit, it's all going to go to the garbage because of the ego of 4 people or 10 people. Doesn't matter. People who pull the stripes beyond the scene. So when there's no unity, the first one who gets hurt is the one who is not united. Everybody has suffered, but unity is very important. The Gemara says Achav and his army used to go to the war and they win. David HaMelech and other great ones, they go to the war, not always win. Why? Because Achav and the wicked people were united. If the Arabs were united, we did not have any existence. You know what it means, 1.8 billion walking into Israel without weapon? Demonstration, signs. Just walking into Israel. What are you going to do? You don't have enough bullets to shoot at all of them. Unity. They come, they put hands together, 1.8 billion, children, women. They put, of course, the women in the front and the children because they're used to it, to hide behind them. You have thousands of women come and children, little children come. They even come with Israeli flags. We came to pay you a nice visit, friendly visit. They walk into Israel and the end of us came, chas v'shalom. What's prevented? They hate each other more than they hate us. That's why they kill each other, fight with each other all the time. If not that, they wouldn't have to invest so much time and efforts to kill us. All they had to do is to walk to us. Look at the power of unity. So David HaMelech, Shlomo HaMelech came from him and the Mashiach came from Shlomo. And the Gemara says they were the shidduch from Sheshet Yemei Bereshit, not from, like the Gemara in Sotah, I believe, 40 יום לפני היווצרות הוולד, there's an angel who comes, ריבונו של עולם, טיפה זו מה יהיה עליה, what's going to be with this drop, who's going to come to the world. And the Gemara said, tzaddik or rasha lo ne'emar. But everything was decided for you. You have to be tzaddik or rasha. It was not decided for you. It's 100% in your hand. That's the conclusion of the Gemara. At the same time, they announced bat ploni leben ploni. They announced who's going to be your shidduch. But over here, we are not talking now that they announced when David was born and when they announced when Bathsheba was born. No. We're talking in Sheshet Yemei Bereshit. When Hashem created the world, he said David and Bathsheba will bring Shlomo, which will bring the Mashiach. It was the blueprint of the creation. This story with Uriah, it's like a pin in the neck. It came as a mamash, like as a cut in Hashem's plan. You have to get rid of it, and in the end, we got rid of it. But Uriah Hitti was jeopardizing the entire divine plan. But listen to this. It says like this. David is the seventh son of Ishai. It's the seventh one in the Ushpizin. And Bathsheba, her name is Bathsheba, like daughter of number 7. What kind of name is this? Did you ever hear Bat Shmone, Bat Eser, Bat Shtaim? Did you ever hear another thing like this? All of a sudden, Bathsheba. It's the first time you ever hear about his name. You have to admit that it's not a name. Bathsheba. However, today it's an official name because there was the righteous Bathsheba. But how did it start, his name? To show you in the name what's her purpose. She's the 7th wife of David, after Achinoam, Avigail, Maacha, Hagit, Avital, Eglah, that it's Michal. She's the 7th one. The Gemara says 3 Yetzer Hara did not control them. Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. ויש אומרים, there is another opinion also, אף David HaMelech also, you see it in his life, he's like, he has no Yetzer Hara, everything is perfect by him. Like he read, like he says, declare in Tehillim, never make one avon. In Tehillim Kuftet, that's the source. וליבי חלל בקרבי. What does it mean, וליבי חלל בקרבי? What does it mean, חלל? I'm not talking Kohen Halal. Halal means space, empty. Halul. Halul means something empty. You have a glass or tube, it's empty, it's called halul. Velibi halal bekirbi. My heart is empty. Empty from what? What sits inside the heart? The Yetzer Hara. David HaMelech said, Velibi halal bekirbi. Rashi writes, Yetzer Hara met bekirbi. I worked on myself so much all my life that I came to a point that the Yetzer Hara does not exist. How do you kill the Yetzer Hara? According to the Sod, we have a pasuk, Eved Ivri, 6 שנים יעבוד, ובשביעי יצא לחופשי. The purpose of a Jew is to be Eved Hashem, to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim, to be a real faithful servant of Hashem. How is a slave, an Eved, how is he faithful when he always does what his master wants and more than what his master asks? That's called Midat Chasidut, like the Mesilat Yesharim writes, is above righteous. So, what does it mean, 6 שנים יעבוד? If a Jew will be devoted 6 years in Torah and Tfilah and Emunah and working on his midot and cut himself from the world of illusions and all the lies around, 6 years. It's not easy, but it's not all your life. בשביעי יצא לחופשי. Guarantee that in a 7 year, that's it. The Yetzer Hara will give up on you. Met. He kills his Yetzer Hara. 6 שנים יעבוד. He will do אדם לעמל יולד. Serious. Not 2 hours yes, 3 hours no. Serious devotion. After that, so David HaMelech wrote, Yetzer Hara met bekirbi. As soon as Natan HaNavi came to him and told him the mashal about Kivsat Arash, with no hesitation, right away, what did he do? Chatati leHashem. Shaul say, Aham, the nation wants to save the sheep. David, right away, Chatati aviti pasha. You're right. I made a mistake, I'm sorry. It says like this. כ"ב שנים היה דוד מוריד כל יום כוס של דמעות. 22 years David HaMelech fill up a glass, not with espresso coffee. With what? With tears. Tears. ואוכל פתו באפר. And he eats a piece of bread with ashes. What's the difference between afar and efer? Avraham Avinu said, "Va'anochi afar va'efer." Afar means beach sand. Sand, any sand. Efer means ashes. What's the difference between them? Either one of them is worthless, no? Well, you have sand on the floor, nobody picks up. You have ashes, no? Someone's cigarettes, he throws the ashes on the floor. You know anyone who come to pick it up? So if Avraham Avinu say Anochi Afar, it's enough. Anochi Efer, it's enough. What does it mean? Anochi Afar va'efer. Efer means something that used to have an importance, but after it got burned, it became worthless. Afar means something that right now is worthless, but one day can be precious. What do you think this building is full of? It's full of sand. How do you make cement? How do you make all the things for construction? Without sand, in Israel, every building they build, you have huge beach sands, piles down there. That's how they mix it. That's how they do it. How do you have glasses here? All the glasses is all beach sand. So sand, people in Israel steal sand. They come with trucks to construction site, they steal the sand. They come in the morning, 50 tons of sand disappear. No news. It's mamash like this. They steal metal, they steal aluminum, they steal sand. Why? Sand, if you go and buy it, it costs money. So Avraham Avinu say, even if I had importance, it's considered nothing. Even when I'm supposed to be, I'm still nothing. I'm nothing on my past and my achievement, and I'm nothing about what I'm about to achieve. That's what I feel myself. And David HaMelech said, "Va'anochi tola'at velo ish." Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul, do you know what he used to eat when he was learning in yeshiva? What's for lunch today, Rabbi? One slice of bread, 2-3 days old, dip it in coffee, and once in a while tomato for dessert. Not to waste time. Why? Because it's avodah. Person has to work on himself. Now, of course, I know some of you thinking, I want to finish yeshiva, I want to just find a good kala, establish a good kosher Jewish home, and go into business and make millions. What is this rabbi messing my head now, interfering with my plans? But you have to know one thing. This plan of yours, it may be good for you in this world. I'm talking about eternal plan. Something that will bring you to eternal success. You don't need me for that. I'm sure you heard it here 500 times at least. But this is things that the Ramchal writes in Mesilat Yesharim. I'm not coming to say anything new in this book. It's something that everyone knows. But it needs to be repeated again and again and again. I brought you over there CDs. You can take them for free. One of them is a series that I made about Mesilat Yesharim, Path to the Just. That series alone changed the life of many thousands of people to become frum. And hundreds of converts, without proofs. Proofs is a very strong tool to make Baalei Tshuva. Because you show them the Torah is divine, it cannot be given by a human being. But sometimes you don't need proofs. When a person sees that Judaism is so rich, and he can gain so much to my life, into my character, even if it's not from God, I'm going to give my life for it. Even if it's not from God. People buy all kinds of theories and books and go to courses and seminars about all kinds of nonsense, hoping it will be a rehab to my miserable situation. When they find such a book, when they find the explanation of the Mizrachi Yesharim, it revives them. So just before we finish, I want to tell you a story. There's one day I get an email from a Goya. She had a big investment firms in Wall Street. From the story, I understand it's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And she wrote that one friend gave her a CD, Path to the Just. What do you expect from a Manhattan, non-Jewish businesswoman, to listen to this CD? I guess out of curiosity, she started to listen. First lecture, it's first page. First page is critical about the purpose of life, the soul, why Hashem made this world, preparation for the next world. Even a guy hear these things is getting shocked. What do you think? Today I got an email on my way here, mamash an hour ago. The email is, I used to be Catholic, I used to be Jews for JC, I used to be this, until I found your debate. Now I'm on my way to become a Jew. And the sentence is, in one sentence in your lecture, I learned more than what I learned in 30 years in a church. That's what the guy wrote. Not me, it means the Torah. Already gave me more value to what I learned my entire life about their nonsense over there. So this Goya wrote, she said, I email you to personally thank you for changing my entire life for good. What? She said that after she listened to that CD, it changed her character completely, and people in her office started to come to her and say, what happened to you? You changed, you okay? You sick? Is everything okay? They didn't recognize her. She's not angry anymore, not arrogant. She speaks to them with respect. She's a different woman. So she said that since then, she doubled her business. Why? Because all the people who works for her, all the executives that hated her so much, they only do what they have to do not to get fired. They don't care she lose money, as long as nobody knows. Now they started to give their life for her. It's improved the feeling in the office so much and made her business so much better that she had to write a personal email, which I saved it. What? To thank me. She's thanking me. She should thank the Ramchal for how it changed her life. And if this Goya was able to change, why we are not changing? Why? We also learn, everyone here, I'm sure, learned Mesilat Yesharim at least once in his life. It needs to be 100 times. That's the key to be a successful Jew for eternity. This is the book. This is the key. You learn it serious, you know what's Ikar, what's Tafel. Some things look like Hasidi, but that's not Hasidut. The Ramchal speaks about everything there. Kirva LaHashem, everything. And one of the most important things, by all means, is that I have to be ready to give my entire life for the Emet. I want to finish by making one statement. There are two kinds of people in the world. There are people, every person decides at one point in his life if he wants to be righteous or wicked. Not that he wants to follow his desires and do whatever he wants, or he wants to follow a guideline of some kind of a God, whether he's a Jew or non-Jew. He makes this decision in one day of his life, in 1 month of his life, in 1 year of his life. It may be a process, but a point in his life of a person that is choosing direction. Do I want to be religious in any religion? Or I want to be free and do whatever I want? This is a very common decision that almost every human being makes in the world. Now, there are two kinds of people. There are people who first decide to be wicked, and now they are busy all their life to find sources to back them up. And there are people who first accept to check what's the truth, and after they find the truth, they devote their entire life to the truth, whether they like it or whether they don't. Which means they understand that the real thing, according to Hashem, is there is Emet and there is everything else. The Emet, if it's not above everything in your life, you will never be successful in anything you do. Not only in being tzaddik, not only in being successful in your personal life, not as a husband, not as a teacher, not as a Rabbi, not as Gdol Ador. You'll never be successful. You'll never be able to achieve anything. Why? If you're a politician, what's good for me, what's in it for me, what people will say about me, who's going to criticize me, who will throw me out of the door, who will invite me in, you'll never succeed in anything you do. If you say, Hashem, I'm a vessel, I'm nothing, like Avraham, like Aaron, like Moshe, like David HaMelech. Look, that's exactly the main thing in their life. I'm nothing. I'm just, use me. I'm a vessel, which means, what is your truth? You want people to know that this is the right way and this is the wrong way. You chose me to do the job. I have to do the job faithfully. I'm not allowed to mix my own opinions. I'm not allowed to, my feelings, my emotions, the criticism that I may get or not get. That has to be besides the point. First is the Emet. I get fired. I'm not going to get paid. I'm not going to get paid. I'm not going to get invited. I'm not going to get invited. People won't say hello to me in the street. They won't say hello to me. No problem. If that's the price I have to pay for the emet, I'm willing to do it. If you are going to be like this, תוכו כברו, איש אמת, לעולם יהיה אדם ירא שמיים בסתר כבגלוי, ומודה על האמת ודובר אמת בלבבו. You have to be emet not only in your mouth before the election, not only when you want to get a job, not only because you want to get invited because people will write you nice checks. No, this corruption has to make us sick and tired from what's happening in the world today. It has to be because this is the emet and I don't care about anything else. To be famous, not to be, to get money, to send donation, to get a job, to get people kissing my hand. This is all shtuyot, this is nonsense. The more people run after that, in the end they're left with nothing. No Torah, no emet, and no kavod, nothing. In the end, this is the end of these people. They get to a point, they go back to square one, they achieve nothing. In today's world, a chutzpah tisgeh. You have people that work 30, 40 years, they don't make one Baal Tshuva. Nothing. They call themselves Mekarvim. I promise you, from working 20 years in Kiruv, 20, 30 years they work, they don't make one Baal Tshuva. If 2 or 3 people became Shomer Shabbos, it's not thanks to them. Because they came to the conclusion that they want to be religious, and they happen to be there. It happened to me once. I went to a place, until what time we have? You signaled to me 2 minutes before. So I came to a place, not in New York, and there was a yahrzeit. They told me somebody passed away from the community. There are going to be about 150 Israelis, men and women, and they come to pay respect to their friends from the community. So I went there, and I didn't see anyone Haredi there. Everyone's Chiloni, everyone's secular there. And I saw the rabbi over there, 70 years old man. He's there 12 years, the rabbi of that area. And they say to me, this rabbi will say a few words because he knew the deceased person, few minutes he's going to speak, and then you speak after. So I sit on the side, I'm waiting for this rabbi to give his speech, but I saw something very disgusting over there. This rabbi is an old man, he gets over there, or he gets up and he talks, and they don't care. Like it doesn't exist. Never saw in your life such chutzpah. He talks, they face each other. It's 2 huge long tables, and they're sitting one on the right, one on the left, facing each other. So they don't even face him. They all face each other, and they talk, and they eat hummus, pass the bread, give me the beer. And he talks. I'm sitting over there, I'm thinking to myself, I drove 3 hours for this disgrace. 3 hours to get here, 3 hours to come back. What did I do by that? So I'm thinking to myself, how would I be able to get something out of this trip? He finished to speak, 5, 6 minutes he spoke, he sat down. Then I got up. I said to myself, I have to drop an atomic bomb here that everyone will be shocked, otherwise my time is a waste. Right away I say to them, excuse me, do you know who, according to the opinion of Hashem, who is a bigger sinner, Mechalel Shabbat or a murderer? Shh, silent in a second. What? What are you asking? You're comparing Mechalel Shabbat to a murderer? What kind of question is this? They're all ready to swallow me alive. I said to them, how do you know which sin is worse? By what people on the street taught you, or by what the Torah says? So they're thinking. I say, okay, no, what? I said, the Torah, I show you in the Torah, there's a bigger punishment to Mechalel Shabbat than a murderer. And then I started to talk about Shabbat. All the sources, all the proof, they're all sitting like this. 1.5 hours, not one peep. Like this. All of a sudden, you may expect that one of the wicked people would get up and begin to insult me. Nothing. They're mamash doing tshuva as I speak. Wow, we didn't know all these things. We didn't know that it says in Shulchan Aruch, "Hare mechalel Shabbat, hare hu kegoy lechol davar." They didn't know all these things. Started to give them one source after the other. Rambam, Shulchan Aruch, Zohar, Chumash, Karet, akol on the table. Shocked. All of a sudden, who got up? The rabbi. He got up in Hebrew. This whole conversation is in Hebrew. למה אתה קורא להם חילונים? Why are you calling them secular? חילונים in Israel, they're proud to be חילונים. חס וחלילה that you don't call me religious. When they come and say, I'm not religious, I'm חילוני. They're not ashamed of that. That's the name they call themselves. חילוני means weekday. Weekday and Shabbat. They don't have Shabbat. For them, all year around is weekdays. That's all it means. יום חול. למה אתה קורא להם חילונים? There's no such thing חילוני. Every Jew is a tzaddik. I say, not true. Not every Jew is a tzaddik. There are tzaddikim in the Torah, and there are wicked people in the Torah. It's not true. Don't mislead the people. Some people, they can become tzaddikim, but right now they're far away from it. No, that, this. Okay. All of a sudden, one guy got up. He said to him, Rabbi, why do you interfere with his speech? When you spoke, he didn't say anything. Let him finish his speech. You are 12 years here. How many Baalei Tshuva you made? Mamash, an embarrassment like this in front of everyone. So he answered him, I made you a Baal Tshuva. The Rabbi answered him. He said, right, me, him, and him. In 12 years. He does it every hour. Why are you disturbing him? Please have a seat and let him finish. That's how it was. Not only 12 years, complete worthless waste of time, just telling them hagigim and fairy tales, and not one person does tshuva. Everything is good, you're tzaddik, you're tzaddik. We are having a soft approach. This soft approach went bankrupt a long, long time ago already. When these people will realize already? You're talking to the wall, you're wasting millions of dollars of the wealthy people that invest in you and you do nothing. It's time to wake up the people. That approach is bankrupt. I promise you, 20 years of experience, it does not work. It works 1 to 1,000. 1 to 1,000 is a very high neshama. That soft approach works. The Chafetz Chaim made a convention 100 years ago. Chafetz Chaim. He wasn't Israeli, he wasn't Sfaradi, he wasn't fanatic like me. He was a beautiful, well-respected Ashkenazi rabbi, the chief rabbi perhaps of the world of those times. They made an article about him in 1937 in the New York Times. Did you see it or no? They show him sitting by his home. That's, by the way, the only picture from him. Sitting outside with a barret hat, like this. It's different than the pictures we are used to, an actual photography. And they say, how is it possible the most important rabbi in the world live in such a shed? That was the article. You can't believe it. Every priest have mansions and this, and the chief rabbi of the world live in such poverty. So the Chafetz Chaim made a convention. He called all the rabbis around Radin to come for one weekend, and he gave them a speech. That was 100 years ago. If he lived today, I don't know what would if he would even bother to talk. He said like this: in previous generations, all the speakers used to speak about one subject: reward and punishment. Reward and punishment. Gan Eden and Gehenom. Today, people are dropping our tradition and they stop speaking about these things. I encourage all of you to go back to the original way of the Torah and to go back to this topic, because if you don't, not only you're not helping the neshama of Klal Israel, you're making a tremendous damage to the neshama of Am Israel. And what's the proof that he was right? I know one person that I've been talking to him to become Shomer Shabbat. And he did. And then he was invited to go to Sheva Brachot in Yerushalayim in a house of a very important Mekarev, someone who made a lot of Baalei Tshuva in the world. He was invited, it was a far relative of his daughter, so he was invited to spend Shabbat with this Mekarev. Now this Mekarev, his daughter got married. His mind is not to talk to secular people in a Sheva Brachot to become Shomrei Shabbat. His mind was in a Simcha. By this person that was sitting next to him in a meal, and he did not tell him, what's with you? Are you Shomer Shabbat? Why are you not becoming more frum? By this 1 hour that he was sitting next to this Mekarev, and he did not approach him to become better in his Yiddishkeit, he already jumped to the conclusion that everything I told him about Shabbat, it's all nonsense. It's my exaggeration. So I said to him, how did you come to this conclusion? And he said to me, here, if you were right, how come this rabbi didn't tell me one word about the way I dress and the way that I'm not Shomer Shabbat? How? Baruch Hashem, today is Shomer Shabbat. But I'm talking in the beginning steps. Just by not talking to him, already הראה לעצמו היתר. Oh, here, it's not such a big deal. If you come to your doctor with a cigarette, and your doctor doesn't tell you anything about why you're smoking, you're killing yourself, many people would look at that as a permission by the doctor to continue to smoke. Some people would say, well, the doctor didn't tell me, maybe it's not the most important thing about my situation, and some people would say that means nothing. I still know that to smoke, it's killing me faster than what I'm supposed to live. But some people, by the doctor not saying you should quit smoking, they come home and say to their wife, you see, the doctor agreed with me that I can smoke. True or not, what do you think? Let's give some time for questions. If we haven't, we're finished with here. What do you think? Is it possible that a person would stand next to someone gadol that can give him musar and he didn't, and right away he will learn from it that he's permitted to continue with his averos? Correct or incorrect? Everyone is in shock. Did I shock all of you? Huh? No, what do you think? We are not complaining about that Mekarev right now. He was busy with his simcha. It's normal. He doesn't have time in the middle of a simcha to start asking the guests, who are you, what you're doing, what you're not doing. Everything in life has the time for it. I'm just saying, you think it's correct that a person would sit next to someone like this and he doesn't tell him about something that he does wrong, that person will become stronger in his sin because you're not moche. Why do you think the Torah says, "Ocheach tochiach et amitecha"? Because when a rabbi sees somebody does something wrong and he doesn't speak to him in a friendly, in a nice way, by giving him a lot of compliments, but he has to get to the point. Yesterday I had a lecture. He was a very nice, friendly guy. Very nice guy. Bemet, very nice guy. Nice midot. Bemet, impressive person. As we spoke, I was sure he's Shomer Shabbat. Then his friend asked me, tell me, I have a friend that sometimes 4 o'clock on Shabbat comes to me in the middle of Shabbat. Should I let him come or no? I said to him, he drives? He said, yes. I said, well, you have to warn him once, twice. Then tell him, please, come either before Shabbat and stay, or come after Shabbat. I don't want to have a part in this avera, that I'm allowing you to come to my house on Shabbat with a car. So he said to me, he is the guy. About that nice guy. I looked at him, I said, well, I thought you minimum Rav Ovadia, you. In the lecture, you should see how he was thirsty for Torah. So he said, yeah, be'avonotai harabim, I'm not Shomer Shabbat yet. Right away, offer me a very big check. Why? To relax his conscience. So I said to him, that's not so important to me. I need money, I give CDs, many CDs for free, and I make Baalei Tshuva, Baruch Hashem. But it's more important to me, you be Shomer Shabbat. And I started to speak to him half an hour at 1 o'clock at night in the streets of Queens. To be Shomer Shabbat. And now that's it, he's in my cell phone. I already spoke to him today. Give me a week or two, he's Shomer Shabbat, I don't leave him alone. If you tell him, no, you're tzaddik, don't worry, the Rebbe promised you're going to sit next to Moshe Rabbeinu. When is he going to be Shomer Shabbat? When? Never. How dangerous it is, how life and death is in what comes out of your mouth. Now some people say, yeah, but the strict approach makes some people turned off. You heard it, I'm sure. I want to tell you something. You can only turn off someone that was on. Someone that is off 30 years, how more off you can turn him off? He's off, he's dead. The prophet Yechezkel writes, Chai Hashem, I swear on my name, Hashem say, Ki lo achpotz bemot hamet. I'm not interested to kill the dead. Ki im beshuvo midarko hara'a v'chai. It's appeared twice in a chapter. Once, Ki lo achpotz bemot harasha, and in the end of the chapter it say, כי לא אחפוץ במות המת. I'm not interested to kill the dead. Why? He's dead already. Spiritually. I want him to do tshuva that he should live. Which means if he does not do tshuva, he's dead spiritually. He can walk, he can talk, he can eat and make money. For me, he's dead. And I want to tell you something. If a person is not connected to Hashem, אם תעזבני יום, יומיים אעזבך. אם תלכו עמי בקרי, אף אני אלך עמכם בקרי. It's like a mirror. You walk one step reverse, the figure also go one step reverse. You see yourself. Chazon Ish never saw himself in a mirror. One time they took him to a building, he came out of the elevator, and he saw somebody in the hallway, and he said, hello. The person said to him, Rabbi, who are you talking to? He said, over there. He said, no, it's a mirror. They didn't have a mirror. Say hello. And it's one of the books I saw it. Say hello, because he never saw how he looked. Because he didn't care how he looked. He got married, he met his wife 5 minutes before the chuppah. 5 minutes before, he said, bring me someone that is Yirat Shamayim. Beauty. I tell you, there's one girl, one of the most righteous girls that I've seen in my entire life. You know, if every one of you, before he goes to marry, I'm going to come and say to you, listen, I have connection with Hashem. I have one request that Hashem promised me, whatever I ask, He's going to do. Write to me on a piece of paper, how do you want your girl to be? Everything you want. Tzadeket, beautiful, from a rich family, the father will support me all my life to learn Torah, buy me a house in Arnof. Not in Arnof anymore. Maybe in Rechavia, I don't know. He will buy me this, and we're going to have 2 cars. You write everything on a piece of paper. This is this girl. No exaggeration. Coming to daven nets. How many girls in the world come to Minyan to daven nets? Extremely beautiful, from very wonderful family. Her father, multi-millionaire, maybe billionaire, I don't know. Very, very rich. Such humble girl, shy, midot, full modesty. All day Torah and lectures, all day chasadim. Just can't find better girl from this. No, there's none. Perfect, mamash the perfect ultimate thing. She goes out with shidduch, with the Ben Torah like this, Hashem yatzilenu mimeno. After 3 days that he likes her very much, he found out that she will never agree to walk with high heels. You know these high heels that some religious women walk with all day like this? So she said, it's not sanua, I'm not going to walk with high heels ever. And he canceled the shidduch because of this. You understand that? No, how a person can call himself Ben Torah. He comes in front of Hashem, he says, you are Ben Torah? I don't know if I can even call you a Jew bichlal. You left the most righteous, amazing girl because of high heels? That's what I told you before. מה אהבתי תורתך? כל היום משיחתי, what comes out of your mouth shows who you are. If high heels is so important for you to lose such a tzadeket, you're not Ben Torah, you're not Yerei Shamayim, and I don't know if you can call yourself religious. It's better time you wake up. And if there are people here, without offending anyone, that are in this level, wake up today, not tomorrow. Because that's not what Hashem wants. Hashem doesn't want modern half and half. ושמרתם את כל מצוותיי. There's no permission in the Torah to declare, I am modern Orthodox. I am half Orthodox. There's no permission. I don't know who invented this nonsense. There's no such thing. Where do you find in the Torah permission to declare? None of us is really fully Orthodox. I know, I'm not living in illusion. There's a lot to improve. But to declare, that's my max. I will never go above it. I'm not interested to be better. This is what I want to be. Where do you find permission in the Torah? You can say, I know I'm very far from my tachlit. I'm very far from what Hashem expects me to be. I hope one day to be like this tzaddik, like this Talmid Chacham. I hope. But right now I'm far away. Bezrat Hashem, I'll pray, I cry, I'll try, I will learn Musar. Maybe one day I'll get there. Oh, beautiful. But you come and say, no, I'm not like this. I'm Rabbi, I'm modern Orthodox. I'm not, it's not my style. I'm not interested to be there. What is the Torah in that case? Do you know there's one tzaddik in Yerushalayim, Rav Ades. You heard about him? If you go to the Kotel, to the Netz Minyan, go all the way in the tunnel to the end. That's where he davened for many, many years, Vatikin, with such crying and such amazing devotion and connection to Hashem. I have a woman from Long Island, also very righteous woman, mamash serious righteous woman. And she said that she has a lot of problems in her life, with the family, with the work. So she said to me, I want to get your advice. There is an organization on the internet that they're offering to send them X amount of money, and in results, Rav Ades will pray for them 30 days in a kotel for Yeshuot. I say to her, it's a scam for sure. But if you want to be sure that it's a scam, I'm going to send my rabbi that is in charge of my yeshiva in Yerushalayim, my kollel. He goes to the kotel Elat, prepare the money and all the names. I will translate all the names to Hebrew. I'm going to give it to the rabbi. Anyway, we send money to the yeshiva every month. We'll attach your money with the names, and when he goes to the kotel, he'll give it directly to the hand of the tzaddik, not to some kind of internet organization. At least you know that the money went to his hand, and you know for sure. Otherwise, who knows if they even know him, or he knows them. So much scam in this corrupted world. She said, okay, thank you very much, making a lot of sense. We sent the money with the names. The rabbi went to Rav Ades. We gave him $1,000 cash with all the names. Rav Ades said, I'm sorry, I'm not taking money to help Jews. I don't want the money. He started to say, Mi sheberach, and he reads the name. He said, no, Rabbi, it's not one-time bracha. They want you to pray like this every day for them until they have Yeshua. He said, oh, I'll do that also. No problem, give me the paper, I'll do that also. But money, I don't take. He doesn't take, but the crooks are announcing to the whole world, pay him to pray for you. Do you understand where we're living today? Nobody has irat shamayim, nobody has fear from Yom Hadin. They go and they ruin reputation of someone who doesn't do it for the money. And that's how the face of religion look. That finally there's someone fully tzaddik and innocent and Hashem shamayim, and has such devotion and connection to Hashem and honesty to make him also, chas v'shalom, look corrupted. You understand what's going on? That's the greed. You want to be a ben Torah, it cannot be done without working seriously on your midot. And now it's the age before you get married. You can't correct the midot after you get married. It's much harder. You have a partner, it may not be possible. She may not agree. She may not let you do what you want. Right now you can do it. מזווגים לו לאדם זיווג לפי מעשיו. What you're going to be today, that's what you're going to get 2 years from now. You're going to be half enough, you're going to get half enough. You're going to be faker, you're going to get a faker. Or a woman that can live with a faker. Because if you're going to live with a righteous woman, she will kick you out of the window in 2 days. She said, that's not what they told me in the shidduch. But if you're going to be a faker, Hashem will send you a woman that would live with you as a faker. And she see that one day you learn and 3 days you don't. And when you come to the yeshiva, you're outside smoking and listening to music. You're not really devoted for the Torah. And she live with that. On the other hand, a kosher woman will never let you be like this. Be'ezrat Hashem, I want to wish and bless everyone here that we will be able, all of us, from the highest to the lowest, every one of us to improve, to do full tshuva, to listen to what I say. You don't have to agree with me, no problem. One thing for sure, don't get upset. It's all for good meaning. We want all of us to do tshuva. Everything I told you now, mainly I spoke for myself. I didn't come to speak to you that I am here and you are there, chas v'shalom. It's musar for everybody. Whatever you can take and do right away, Baruch Hashem, we earn something. You don't do, maybe one day you will. I'm not your judge. You have nothing to be worried about me. Be'ezrat Hashem, I really hope that this sikha, I spoke in some other yeshivot, I spoke in Rav Moshe Feinstein yeshiva, Tiferet Yerushalayim, in some yeshivot in Israel, and Baruch Hashem, after that, they reported There was a great waking up of many people who were down like half asleep. They started to show up, they started to learn better, they showed up to the davening better. So it helped in some places. I hope this will be one of them. Thank you very much. Have a great week.